we're going to go ahead and get right to it. I think more people might be coming, but we're going to get right to it because the auction talk will take a little teeny weeny bit longer than normal announcements go, because we just announced our big auction. So I've got some information to fill you in on. But welcome everybody. You know the drill. Let's double check the phones. Let's make sure they're off. Just do a double check for me. Make sure they are completely off. We always just ask this hour and a half. We are all just here and present. No sneaking the phones. Thank you. And then at any point, if you need to go to the bathroom, if you're new and you don't know where they're at, you just go right outside into the house, underneath the deck, sliding glass doors to the left. So you just take care of that if you need to at any point. If you need a refill on the coffee, cookies, anything like that, help yourself. Okay.
I didn't get that. I didn't try to get that.
Oh, yeah.
Alexa, play some good music. Alexa, sell lots of auction tickets. Get some donations. Okay, so here's the deal, you guys. It's finally here. So our biggest fundraiser of the year for Battlefield Addiction is coming up on Saturday, November 9th. This is our 10th anniversary year. It's our 7th annual auction. This will be the 7th auction we've done in our 10 years. But it's our 10th anniversary with Battlefield, and so we're going big. We're reaching back to the beginning of time. We're to the beginning, back to the old guys that we haven't seen in a long time. All the families that maybe it's been a while since we've seen them. They've got long time recovery now. They're not coming to meetings regularly. If you know any of those people that I'm talking about, I need your help on reaching out to them. We want everybody there. We want their loved one there that's in recovery. We just want everybody there. New, old, all the above. So we just went live on the registration site. So battlefieldaddiction.com, if you click on events and you go to auction, it's going to lead you right to our auction page. It's going to have all the details there. So don't worry if I talk too fast and you don't get it all, it's okay. It's all on our website. But here's the deal. If you are not already on our auction team email list and you want to be, if you want to be part of the auction team, meaning you are part of something along the way, as much or as little as you can give, location, it doesn't really matter. But if you want to be on that auction team and that email that I'm sending out, information, be sure and let me know if you're not already on there that you want to be. Basically, the focus right now is we need to sell tickets and we need to gather items and gain sponsors. So we need cheeks in the seats and we need moolah. And so there's two things, cheeks in the seats. So we have got these awesome posters. We've got these big ones. We've got medium-sized ones. We've got small ones. We have all kinds of flyers. So I really need help getting these out into the community to spread the word about this event. We want people that are in our Battlefield family, but we want people beyond, because it's not just about us. It's a special night that we get to celebrate the successes that night, of course. But we need to reach beyond, and we need to reach out in the community and gain people that don't already know about us. So if you all can help, that would be great. We have letters, we have sponsorship levels, we have all the paperwork that you need to get out there in the back here. And I have these cool bags. So these are for you real go-getters, like, our old timers probably. But this is a bag that can hold all the materials in. So when you go out, you walk into a place and you have it all in there. So I'm super excited about these bags because in the years past, no, seriously, like in the years past, like the posters get like all messy in the back seat of the car. And then it's horrible. And then your little thumbtacks and things, it's kind of a nightmare, I will tell you. But this is going to make it really easy. So each of these we're going to make you a little pack. So for those of you who are really invested in helping us and spending maybe like a couple hours every couple weeks, whatever, I don't know. If you're invested in spending a lot of time doing this and getting out in the community and really going to go get it, I want to equip you with this bag tonight. And this little bag here has thumb tacks and it has the little sticky dots for the posters. It has everything that you need to go out and make it easy for you so it's not flying around in your car. So be sure and see me or Becky before you leave if you're one of those people that will really get out there and get these things. So
I don't even have it.
yeah, I was so excited. I just ordered it all from Amazon because I was like, geez, it really is. It's not easy to have all that stuff flying around in your car. So I have a solution. So that's that. So is there anything else?
Well, like you talked about donations, but I think one thing we always kind of forget about is, like, if you have an employer, a lot of companies have like a foundation, charitable foundation, and employees can nominate us for a grant. And we can help with all that. We could give you all the information, or you just, nominate us and they give us an email and we send it in. That would be awesome too.
Yeah.
And then matching funds, if you work for a company that does matching funds, that helps a lot too, because it like doubles any donation that you do.
Like Bev Tandy.
Yes.
She's gonna be here tonight. Yeah.
So, I mean, besides.
turns
the
hers in
auction,
all the
I mean, these are things, I mean, the auction's our biggest fundraiser, but these are the things that keep us going. And monthly partnerships too. And if you aren't a monthly partner and you'd like to become one, you get a Yeti mug. And I have some here today, and all you have to do is like do a little QR code, go to the auction. Or no, I'm sorry, the Battlefield website and make a donation of $25 minimum a month. And then you get a Yeti mug. So, and
Little
there's
bonus.
it's exclusive.
A little bonus.
Yeah,
For our
we
new
only have
ones,
a few-
our new
yeah.
monthly partners.
Right.
Yes.
And
yes.
then
Mob.
mob.
We will be on Mob tomorrow. It's been way too long. I miss all you guys, so I can't wait to check in with all you guys. So the Mob is Moms at Battlefield. That's for all ladies. If you're a lady, you're invited. Every Wednesday, 11 a.m. We hop on Zoom. We have our coffee together. We connect. We talk about the topic from the night before. So please join us. If you need the link, reach out to me and I'll get it to you. But definitely join us tomorrow. It's been way too long. I miss y'all. And the one thing I didn't mention is the procurement forms. Procurement forms are back there. So if you're out gathering things, Pam's a good gatherer every year. Thank you. You've already got some. Perfect. She's a good gatherer. So if you're a good gatherer, go into your local businesses, asking for donations for our baskets and our auction, whether it's silent auction, live auction, this is the form that you need. If you have any questions, you let me know. So, okay, I think that's it. So with that, we have Mr. Kyle Munkers here. He's bringing back Kyle's Corny Comedy Corner. So take it away, Kyle.
All right. Speaking of cheeks, no, I'm just kidding. Looking at you, Mac. I'm going to start with one of my favorites and a classic. What do nosy peppers do to get jalapeno business? I don't know if you ever realized, but when you're sitting there waiting for the waiter, that actually makes you the waiter. The other day, somebody threw a bottle of omega-3s at me, and it hit me pretty hard, you know. But it's okay, you know, the injuries were only superficial. Art didn't get it, superficial, you know?
It did take me a while.
Yeah. I know that face.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of experimenting and like going to different support groups, and for a while now I've been chairing a plastic surgery anonymous group. You know, last week I saw some new faces. Disappointed. When I had my daughter Chloe, my girlfriend's water broke while we were in her apartment, and I called the hospital and I was talking to the doctor, and I said, "Doc, she's going into labor. What do I do?" He goes, "Okay, well, is this her first child?" I said, "No, it's her boyfriend." I thought he was a doctor. You know, I was thinking, you know, sometimes on a, you know, easy night, you know, parents will sometimes give their kids frozen pizza or frozen nuggets, you know, it's kind of messed up. Should at least microwave it or something. Every now and then Jeff Lalonde does night watch for us, and he's pretty good. You know, he'll even do our laundry for us. The other day I saw him coming up the stairs with the clothes hamper, and he tripped. I saw it all unfold. One of our clients, Jeremy, I don't know if you guys know Jeremy. I'm convinced that he's actually blind. Lately, he's been stumbling into tables and into chairs, into bars. last one. Another client, Bono, a bunch of people have been yelling at Bono a lot lately, you know, telling him to put the toilet seat down, you know? I don't know why he even carries that thing.
Oh. Kyle Munkers. Man, we've been at it a while. 50 years old. So you guys know I'm 50 years old. I figured out what I believe I've never heard 50-year-old men tell me exactly what a midlife crisis is. I never really looked into what it was, just so you guys know that are younger. I think it, on a serious note, it's three things that you think of and obsess of when you get 50, and tell me if I'm wrong. But number one is I'm going to get sick. All my friends are getting sick. People I know are getting sick. And number two is like, I'm going to run out of money. For sure, I'm going to run out of money. And then like number three is like, I haven't done enough. And so that's my version of what maybe a midlife crisis is as a 50-year-old man. And I don't know if it's the same for women, but anyways, you get in the midst of that, and then you get in the midst of like, you know, trying to take care of your body, and you try to take care of your food, and you have your own mental illness and your own depression to deal with. And, you know, you really learn about the difficulties of this stuff. So years ago, just so you know, if you're Miss Addie's here, she's a new person, and then we have some other new people, but Kathy and Dave, everyone else knows me, so it's pretty much, you know, when you get sober and you've been doing something for a long time. So all you guys, and you've been using drugs for a long time, and you get sober, and you get to this particular point where you start understanding something. I hope you do, and I hope you understand that what life is about, and there's a game of life. And I think that when you start understanding what that is about, it's about this thing called relationship. It's about relationships. That's what hopefully everyone came here tonight. It's because you wanted to work on a relationship. Hopefully you came here because you're trying to build on your relationships. Hopefully when we say solution group, what people understand is that you're coming here to learn about how to make a difference in these relationships. And for the most part, a lot of people come here and it's not okay. And they come here and they say, right now it's not okay, and I need to make a difference in this relationship. So I did that, and I started out in my sobriety, and there's something that has to develop when you begin the relationship, when you begin to play the game. And on a sad note, it seems as if we've gotten really poor at this as human beings. Can we open that window right there? And maybe the back? Is it hot for anyone else?
Yeah.
Yeah, can we open up the garage door and yeah, I didn't know it was hot yoga in here.
It's not. We just had a big rush.
Very funny. She just told me I'm having that just a couple of days ago, so I'm having hot flashes. No, all the way, Jeff.
Man,
Let it ride.
Yeah.
Woo! Slow down a little bit. So sadly enough, it seems like people have gotten to a point where we're not really into this game anymore. Where relationshiping has not become something that's an activity that most people are trying to do, building new ones, getting out there, and we become a divisive group of people that kind of hang with our own. And recently, and people ask me all the time, how come we're getting so political here, and why are we getting into politics? And so I'll go back and tell that a little bit, because it is affecting all of us. The way our community is, the way our leaders lead, the way they relationship is now affecting all of us. And so people ask today, I don't really want to hear some of that political stuff, or I want to just come for the other stuff. But what happened was we became infiltrated. We became infiltrated with the way that people relationship. I'm kind of going slow because we got people to come on in, and I want them to be able to catch up. Also going slow because I shoot from the hip and I'm out of bullets. So back in the day when we started this thing and I got sober at 37 years old. And what I didn't know at 37 years old is I didn't know how to relate. See, that was a problem. I didn't know how to relate to people. I didn't know how to relate to life. In fact, with life, I didn't know how to relate to it because I disagreed with most of it. For the most part, I disagreed with what was going on. I had this me and life, and between me and life, there was a disagreement in the way that people acted, disagreement in the way that people treated me, disagreement in who I was, disagreement in the way the world saw me, disagreement with my friends, disagreement with my family. I was in disagreement with life, and I didn't know how to relate to it. And so what that leads to is a lot of anger. And so I had a lot of anger when I got sober, and I was volatile, and I was up and down, and I was restless and irritable and discontent. And there is restless and irritable and discontent. And so we have to understand that we have that, and then we're bringing that stuff. So now I had to learn I had to do something. I had to figure out what my practice was going to be in order to relate to people. So that means when I go out in the day and I play the game of relationship, I have a hard day with people. I have a hard day with people at the store. I have a hard day with other drivers. I have a hard day with my boss. I have a hard day with my coworkers. It's a hard day. And what I have to do is I have a hard day with my classmates. And at the end of the day, I have to go home and I have to like process what's happened. And I have to have some type of practice, whether that's a Christian practice or a mindfulness practice or a Buddhist practice. I needed a practice. I needed to be able to go, okay, what just happened here? What is this process? And for me, it was a mindfulness practice. For me, it was coming home, and it was the usage of self-awareness. If I can come home and I can look at me, if I can look down over the top of me and see how I behaved, and see if I had success with my behavior, or see if there was failure with my behavior, and see what had happened. And so I had to come back and process. I had to have this time where I processed, and it was important for me to have a practice. And so you develop a practice, hopefully not to look good. And I'm sometimes when I see people and they have a spiritual practice, I kind of wonder what that's about. I wonder if they're entertaining a spiritual practice because they can openly admit the anger in their heart. I wonder if they're having a spiritual practice because they can admit the anger and the resentments and the stuff that's built up in here, and I need some outlet to get rid of it. Or maybe my spiritual practice is to look good. Maybe it's a competition. And for me, it started out as a competition. I can be very honest and tell you, I got spiritual because I wanted everyone to know I was more spiritual than you. You know, we start meditating in public. You start taking off your shoes. You start doing some weirdo shit, you know? And at some point, you start realizing that was a competition. You start reading just so you know more than people. And I did that. But at some point, it switched. And at some point, I knew I needed a practice to get rid of this anger, because the measure of who I am as a human being has only one measure. See, the measure of who I am as a human being has to do with my relationships. How are they going? How are they going? Recently, as it's went on, I'm apologizing a lot more in my life right now. You know, and there's a real measurement to the reason I'm apologizing for more in my life right now, because I'm dealing with my own restless and irritable and my own discontent, and that spills out into my relationships. And only with a spiritual practice of self-awareness can I go, wow, I'm really spilling over into shit. My fears are spilling over into my relationships. My self-esteem is filled, my health, my mind, the food I'm eating is spilling over into my relationships. So now what do I have to do? And just for you guys know, if you're not relationshiping, if you're not actively going, man, I'm getting out there, I'm meeting people, I'm doing this, I'm making connections at work, I'm networking, I'm like repairing things, I'm working on that. If you're not doing that, I would say there's a reason. You know, maybe you have a newborn baby, but also maybe you're on TikTok. So maybe you're on TikTok, and that's what I'm trying to get across today. This idea of having a spiritual practice, relationshiping, building networks, getting out and testing your, you know, we have to test it with people that disagree with us. It seems that we have this divisiveness in our world right now, and people go to the pockets of places where people agree with them, and they hang out together, and that's where people go. They go find out who agrees with me, and I'm middle. So everyone knows I'm middle. I'm going to say I'm middle. I'm going to say I'm middle till the end, you know. But there was a thing, and they invited us to a Freedom Fest over here. And that's the far right's picnic this weekend. Washington State far right's picnic. And they were all up there at the Freedom Fest pandering to each other, telling each other how great their ideas are, telling each other how smart they are, telling each other how stupid the other side is. And that's kind of what we're doing in our relationships now. And so I didn't want to go there because I didn't want to go to the pocket of places that disagree with me, because that doesn't test my spiritual practice. See, I need something that tests me. I need something that makes me go and make me a better human. I need people that disagree with me so that I can get angry and go home. I like to go get disagreed with, get really angry, say stupid shit, and then go home and process that and come back and apologize. And that's kind of my, so we need to even talk about what this relationshiping thing is. If you're relationshiping, it should go like this. You go and you play the game. You talk with people. You get off your phone. You get down to business. You try to repair relationships with your brother, your family, your mother, whoever it is that you're working on this stuff with. You're really getting active. You're working. That's what you're here for, is to learn how to relationship, really take responsibility for it. And the process works like this. You go, you have an interaction, you get pissed. You should get pissed. Things happen. You say stupid shit. You argue. You do whatever you do. Now, that's not the important part. That's just the game. But the important part is the practice. It's what you do when you go after that relationship. See, we talked Sunday about what humility is. Humility isn't when I come here to tell you like, oh, shucks and oh, gee, and I'm not that great and all that kind of thing. Humility is when you're alone. See, I say humility is when you're alone. I say it's when you're driving in your car. It's when you're processing an argument you just had, when you're processing the relationship problem that you just had, and there is a 1% chance that you might be wrong. Now, that is the door of humility, when we can have a 1% chance that maybe we consider. And as we get a 1% chance of considering our own wrongness, it moves to 3% or 10% or 15% or 20%. Or 80%, or whatever it does. But the scale of our own wrongness is our practice, to be able to take it down and go, okay, when I'm alone, am I right or am I wrong? When I'm alone, is it actually me considering my own behavior and my own wrongness, or is it the consideration of the other people? See, one will lead to anger and hatred, and one will lead to calmness and peace. And so as I go through my own wrongness, and I've been wrong at 13 years sober, at 50 years old, this year I've just been wrong a lot, more than ever. And it's not fun. And I've apologized to people more than ever. With my relationship with my wife, I'm dealing with stuff. I'm dealing with stuff for the first time. Life's been pretty easy for me, but it's been getting more difficult. It's difficult because of my health. It's difficult because of the food I eat. It's difficult to become 50 and worry about the things I'm worrying about. It's all difficult. Mental health is difficult, doing this stuff. And we're bringing this baggage to relationship. And it seems like that we don't really consider all of what we're bringing. We don't consider ourselves. We don't consider what we're bringing. And so what we're doing is we're arguing over our rightness, and we're relationshiping in a way. And then we go, oh, I don't want to be around that person anymore because they tell me I'm wrong. And that's a little tough. And I don't like to have to apologize. So I'm going to tell them to F off. And this thing about you guys building your life, all you people in early recovery, all you guys, are you doing the work? Did you have to apologize to anybody this week? Well, if you didn't, then you are not relationshiping. I promise you, you're not even trying. If you're not getting out there and having disagreements with people, if you're not fighting over things, if you're not actually working hard to like build things and to be with people you disagree with and to like make a difference, then there would be no reason to have a practice. There would be no reason to be spiritual, because you could just go around people that agree with you. You can just go around people that say what you like to hear. You can stay away from people that don't say what you like. You can just do that and you'll be fine. You will never have anger or hatred in your heart. But there should be a spiritual practice should be a mandatory thing in your life if you're playing the game of relationship. Because a spiritual practice leads to a responsible human being, and where we can come back and we can find a way to be at peace, even though we're involved in this heated thing where we're trying to figure out the way to relate to each other, and we're not doing it. Sadly enough, I look at politicians and I look at what's going on, and I look at our leaders and I look at what that's doing to our families and our communities, and I look at people and this idea of we disagree to disagree and this bullshit. this idea that we can't talk anymore, and this idea that we don't know how to relate to each other anymore, the idea that everyone else that doesn't believe what I believe is crazy. It's hard. There's different things we're bringing to the relationship now. We're bringing our cell phones. If you don't know that your cell phone's in the way of relationships, you're crazy. You are crazy. Your cell phone is killing your relationships. It has to. We're bringing our cell phone. We're bringing our ideology. We're bringing a belief system that's been taught to us, a belief system that somehow is fed through your algorithm. So you look at your algorithm and you believe what your algorithm tells you what to believe. And so you disagree with somebody that doesn't have your algorithm. And you go, no, my algorithm says all Republicans are stupid. Well, my algorithm says all Democrats are stupid. And then we disagree. My algorithm says we shouldn't do pronouns. Well, mine says we should. And this is what we're bringing. So we're bringing these kind of ideologies to it. The baggage that we're carrying into relationships now is unheard of. And then the isolation and the getting by and the not coming out. And the ever since COVID, me and Angie was driving around, we're like, where is everyone? No one comes out anymore. No one goes to dinner anymore. The restaurants are empty. The fun is gone. And so we're really going the opposite direction in this whole thing about learning how to relate to each other. And as I go back in right now, I have to apologize a lot. So I have to look, and I can now know when I'm having heated discussions, when I'm getting angry, when I'm saying things I don't like to say to people, when I'm being hurtful, when I'm being in pain, there's one mechanism. I must go back to this spiritual practice and work harder at myself. I must come back here and test, and then I can test it. You see, I can test my ability to sit with people, my ability. I was challenged today. I went to a place called Valley Cities, and I went down to Valley Cities to look at what they're doing with Ricky's Law, and I was really surprised at this location in Kent that's full, and it's filled with people that are mandated to treatment, that have been put in this place, and it's 13 beds of mental health and 13 beds of addiction. And I came across the psychiatric provider, the one that's prescribing the meds, and we were having a discussion, and I said something to the thing about harm reduction, and this guy says to me, he goes, well, I agree. I agree with letting people smoke fentanyl. And I want you to know that the rage inside of me when somebody says that is there. The heart rate pounding, the stuff is there. He says, I agree. And I said, you agree? I said, so if I told you I have a sober living up on the hill and there's 11 beds and 3 of the guys are up there right now smoking fentanyl, you would think that's okay? And he said, yes. And I said, okay, well, he goes, but you would want to rebrand the name. And I go, yeah, it'd probably be kind of contradictory calling it a sober living. You're good point, But the point of that story is that I have to try to find a way to relate to this person. I have to find a way to relate to this person, not for the sake of anything else other than my own resentments and my own anger and my own frustration. I have to get, and the answer for me is to understand this person. I have to go deeper. I have to understand, where do you get that? Where did it come from? Where did you learn something like that? Have you ever worked with an addict? I have to ask those questions. And in order to ask those questions, I have to stay calm. And if I don't, then I'm going to be a dick, and then I'm going to go apologize later. And that's kind of the process that I've been involved in recently. So again, I want to really help some people tonight. And, I don't think we're really, I think we're going the opposite way of relationshiping. I don't think people are doing it anymore. And if they are doing it, they're doing it through a weird mechanism called Facebook or Snapchat or whatever they're doing. And I don't think that requires anything of us. And I think it's important that people understand what happens in this process of going to relationship, this process of then getting angry, and what most people do. So here's how it normally works. I go in and I tell somebody what I want them to do differently, or I tell them what I disagree with. And then when I have an interaction and I leave that interaction and I get kind of frustrated, and I come out of that interaction and I begin to think about how wrong the other person is. And I begin to build a case for my own rightness. and I stay in my rightness and I begin to build my resentments. And then I come to a place where I don't want to be around that person anymore. And I think that that's what's going on in our relationships, and to understand a different process to go into that relationship and to take responsibility for it by leaving that interaction and looking at yourself in a case of self-awareness. That's kind of what we all need in order to stay together, in order to keep this thing going. And so when for me, this process is really in depth right now, and it's fun. For me, I'm having to interact with people, make mistakes, disagree, and it's a good time for disagreements. They're everywhere. You can you can find somebody to disagree with. You can find somebody that you think is almost insane on a minute by minute basis in this world right now. I mean, almost every minute of every world, I can turn on any television show. I can turn on anything. I can meet anyone talking, and I can really find the insanity in folks. We are here to teach people to relate. And I think that, man, we weren't taught that in high school, you know? We weren't taught how to relate, and then we got into drugs, and now we're trying to learn how to relate to folks. For me, I'm learning again. I got a lot of baggage right now, and I've never had that, and life's been an ease for me, you know. So I kind of want to just help some people tonight. I hope that somebody can bring forth a relationship or a problem, and we can do a little talking about that in the way that we know how to do. So we're gonna kind of open it up. I don't know, normally, just so if you're new, normally I've got a lot to say. And so I need a little tonight I need to help someone. Yeah, so tonight we're gonna help someone on Zoom, and we're gonna show you how we help someone. You know, and it'll show up here in a second. So anyone on Zoom, Angie's right here. You want to step up? Let's go.
Yeah, if anybody on Zoom, you can use the raise your hand feature. I assume they can hear me. You know how to do it. Raise your hand feature on your device. You unmuted somebody here. Somebody get on the court. Somebody going through it.
Okay.
You know, it seems like we as a nation and people don't like this division that we're in now. I mean, you know, a month ago, you had Mark Mullen here, who was very much a centrist politically.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people said, man, that's what we need. Someplace that people can come together in the middle.
Yeah.
What happened to Mark Mullen? He got clobbered.
Yeah.
He got clobbered. He got the lowest number of votes for governor.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to go left or we wanted to go right.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really frustrating
Yeah.
for me to see that division just getting stronger and stronger. That's on the political. And so if we have that politically, I think that just drives a lot of people apart.
It does. You know, my big thing here is to embarrass righteousness. I met with Mark yesterday.
Oh.
And I sat with him for a couple hours, and I said what we need to do. And this is all of us with our families. I think righteousness should be an embarrassment. So people need to understand what righteousness is righteousness is when I believe that I'm 100% right without the exception of humility, without no chance. And I think that we do this with our family members, and we're doing it in politics. And I would like to see that people would acknowledge that there is a possibility that you're all wrong. There is a possibility here that I'm wrong. And what would open up the door if tomorrow we would say to maybe a family member who's struggling with another family member, or let's say a politician who's struggling with other politicians, what would it be like if tomorrow we just took the day off of our own rightness? What if we just took the day off and we asked the Democrats to maybe investigate why they're wrong and really come up with a list. And then we asked the Republicans to do the same. and really come up with a list. And the answer, would they come up with anything? And then in our own families, that it's a stalemate, that we are in a stalemate with people. In those relationships, can you come up with a reason why you're wrong? Can you come up with a reason why it's possible that you need to change? Can you come up with one? And I think that that's what we're, and I talked to Mark about a strategy of embarrassing righteousness. If you totally believe in the likes of somebody like Donald Trump to run this country, you're a lunatic. You're a lunatic for one reason, because he's divisive. Because he's not going to enroll the other side. And if you believe in Kamala Harris, you're a lunatic, because she's not going to bring the other side. And we absolutely need somebody that can bring everyone together. And without that, it's just going to get worse, no matter what. So we don't need righteousness. We need somebody that says, hey, we might be wrong. We are in power, but we also might be wrong. We might have to look at our own wrongness. And I think that it plays out in our families and it plays out in our relationships in our life. And I think that we have to get to a point where, I'm sorry if I offended anyone because I said you're a lunatic if you like Kamala Harris or you're a lunatic if you like Donald Trump. But just tell me, if you had a franchise of Cinnabons, would you let either one of them run the Cinnabon? You wouldn't hire them, promise. You would get someone more qualified. You would find someone. You would find someone that could lead people. So they might be nice people, but it's not what we were used to as a standard of the American president. And I think that we had a higher standard, but that's here nor there. I want to, that's the thing, is all of us. Why are we why is most people that you meet in the middle, and the middle is not governing? So, but that's politics again. I want to get back to someone that wants to, yeah, here we go.
All right,
Here we go.
come on. Let's get you unmuted, Danielle.
I think you're calling to me.
Okay.
I don't know if Mason's in the room there tonight or not, but Mason's blocked me. He doesn't talk to me anymore. He's really mad. I think there's multiple reasons, but his last message was because I hadn't been responding to his messages. So he cut it off. I don't know what's happening with him. I can't do anything to try and work on it with him since he won't talk to me. I don't know what's next. Before I move back in October.
Anything you want to say, Mace? No? Why, Mace? Huh?
Discuss everything right now.
When is it time?
Don't have to do it. I talk personally.
Mhm. When we reach a stalemate like we reach, I told somebody, I met with somebody yesterday and they told me that their mother was an addict and that she put her through hell, and it was a tough life for this young lady. And she said her mom was older and she's going to love her from afar, is what she said. She goes, I can love her from afar. And I said, no, you can't. That's not possible. How do you love someone from afar? That means you don't love them. This whole thing here of what we're doing and understanding this one life thing. So I told her, I said, you got one life and you got one mother. I love this new idea that children and I'm not all kids. Just so you guys know, this is a revolution. This is a parenting child relationship revolution. One the likes that has never been heard of. For the first time in history, children of parents get to judge their parents. Just so you know, it wasn't a thing. All of us that are 50 years old or over sitting in this room, do you remember ever critiquing whether your parents did a good job or not? We did not have the right. You did what you were told. It didn't matter. Guess what? You got one mom. I like when people complain about their parents because to me, it's like, you know what? They're your parents. That's it. It's like complaining about your hands. You got two hands. That's your hands. To complain about them is ridiculous. Man, I got the wrong hands. I just wish I would have better hands. It don't matter. This is what you got. You got one mom. You got one dad. That's what you got. And you got yours. Deal with it. And your parents do what they do. And you can then go on. And if you don't like what your parents do, there's plenty of opportunity for you to be a better parent. There's plenty of opportunity to learn. That's called evolution. That's how we get better. We learn what was wrong. Actually, maybe it's not. Maybe it's de-evolution. Maybe it goes the other way. Because maybe what happened in our country was we didn't like the way our parents parented us, and they were hard on us and they disciplined us. So we decided to go the other way and say, you don't have to earn anything. And so maybe the pendulum swung. And when it swung, what happened was we now have a bunch of kids. People always tell me this. They always say that this drug epidemic is from trauma. I don't meet people traumatized. I meet people entitled. Yes, there is trauma, but I meet the entitled. I meet people that have went on 100 vacations by the time they're 20. I've met on people that didn't earn a bike. I met on people that lived in high-end, nice homes. I met people that came from good homes and did all this. That's who I meet. And I meet people that I can raise a hand and say, when's the last time you earned anything? And they don't have an answer. And so I don't know if we've went the wrong direction or what we've done, but for the first time, we've opened up the door to a 14-year-old, a 12-year-old, an 11-year-old to sit and critique the job that their parents are doing. I think that's insane. I think that that's a thing that you should give up on if you're a kid. If you run around and your friends tell you their parents are better than your parents, well, tell them about your hands. It's insane. Because the people that complain about their parents live a really problematic life. You just do. And understanding that this isn't like you guys think it is, man. They're gone. They're gone. And so we have one life and we have one chance to relate and we have one chance to love and we have one chance to connect with each other. That's it. And the years are flying. When you get 50 and you start realizing, damn it, I wish I would have spent more time with my mom. Who cares if they were flawed? Who cares if they had I love drug addicts too. My parents were addicts. So are you. What the hell are you talking about? Don't you get it? Don't you understand how someone could become an addict? They had parents. They were probably problematic. They became addicts. Now you've done the same. And then you whine that your parents are addicted to things. That's life. That's what we got. It saddens me when people take a position against their own family. That's what you got. That's your family. It saddens me when people don't want to do the work. Saddens me. Because who else do you got? When are you going to do the work? When's the time? What if they die tomorrow? What if they're gone? So she said she's going to love her mother from afar. And I said, but don't you have hatred in your heart? She said, yeah. Well, why do you want hatred in your heart? Well, how would you get rid of that hatred in your heart? Well, you would forgive. Well, how would you forgive? Well, you would understand. Well, how would you understand? Well, you would communicate in relationship. And once you understand, you can forgive. But the reason you can't forgive is because you don't understand. And the reason you're not trying to understand is because you're goddamn happy being right. You would rather be right than love. So people that aren't communicating, aren't doing this, are protecting themselves because they would rather be right. They want their story to be the narrative. And they would rather be right than be in love. And it's hard. See, I'd rather be right about Bailey. I'd rather say, oh man, that kid's turned on me. That kid's doing shit that I don't like. That kid, man, I did everything for him and now he don't pay attention to me. Now he's going to do this. And I would rather, and this morning I wanted my story about Bailey to be true. Me and Bailey, we've been working on a relationship, so I was pissed at him last night because he wasn't communicating with me. And so I was saying, this kid, there's a wedge between us and it's all his fault. And he's doing this and he's doing that. So I called Bailey and I got on him on the phone. It's all your fault. And how come And then I got something something hit me again. Oh, fuck. I'd rather love him than be right about him. Oh, shit. Now what do? So now what do you do? See, because if I could be right about him and I can have his story and I can demonize him and I can tell him that, he's doing this to me and I can be a victim of him. Man, that feels good sometimes. See, it feels good for our story to be true about people. It's hard. People have stories about me. Art's this, Art's that. He doesn't care about me. You've never called me. But you're right. And that's what we would rather do. You see, this relationship game is us. It ain't just you being right floating through the goddamn world. You can't forgive because you don't understand, and you won't understand because you love the feeling of righteousness. And you love the feeling of righteousness because you protect yourself from injury. So we close our hearts down, we be righteous, we put our hands like this, and we call it a day. And we fold up and say, I'm right, they're wrong, I'm a victim, that's the story. And guess what? You need a pry bar to open your arms back up. You need a pry bar to open them up because it hurts. And I understand how it hurts. And so when I call Bailey back and I say, you know what, man, I'm sorry. I brought my baggage to your shit. I brought what I brought, man. And it wasn't you. That's not fun. It's not a fun activity. It hurts. But it only comes when we got this practice. We can only open our heart back up when we want it open back up. Do you want that anger and hatred in your heart? Why do Republicans want to hate Democrats? Why? Why do you want that anger in your heart? And they won't ask and try to understand because they want their story to be true. They want their version of reality to be the right one. And both sides are doing it. And that's what we're doing it in our families too. We would rather be right than forgive. We would rather be right than understand. We would rather be right than be in love. And that is what is going on. People love being right. What if you aren't? And then right when I say, what if you aren't? They're like, I am. What if you aren't right? Well, I'm not wrong. It ain't right about what happened. That's not what you might be accurate. They might have done that to you. You might be accurate. That's what happened. You can be accurate and you might tell me that's what happened, Art. That's what they did to me. You're wrong about why. That's why you don't know. You don't understand why it happened. So you think it was personal to you. Just like if I'm sitting in this room and somebody gets up and looks uninterested and they leave the room and I go, geez, that person doesn't like what I have to say. I can't believe they're just going to walk out on me. And then I realized they had to take a big poop. And it had nothing to do with me. So I had to ask that person, hey man, why did you walk out? Why did you leave, man? And I have to ask like I believe people are good. See, I have to start there. When I'm in this game of relationship, inherently, I have to believe it with my whole heart. People are good. You see, that's the core of this thing. You're trying to prove people are bad. Now, if we stop trying to prove people are bad and start trying to prove why they're good, We will seek the proper understanding. We will go try to get it. If I stop trying to portray Bailey as a bad guy, if I stop trying to portray Brad as a bad guy, if I stop trying to portray people as a bad person, and I try to figure out why they're a good person, everything leaves me, the anger, the hatred. And now I'm doing the work. And now it gets out of my heart. So my job is someone in the middle, is to figure out why those on the far right and the far left are good. Why are they good? Why does what they say make sense? Why? How do I seek that understanding? And how do I pull this divisiveness back? How do I do my job? How do I make a better connection with people? How do I get this hatred? It's all done for that. You see, everybody that's right about another person, everywhere that you're being right now, everywhere. Find a friend that you're being right about. Find a coworker that you're being right about. Find a family member that you're being right about. Everywhere you're being right, you're unhappy. You just go look. You want to find your unhappiness? Find where you're right. There's your unhappiness. You're right. They're wrong. There's your unhappiness. So in order for us to get rid of our unhappiness, we have to figure out why they're right. Do you know every time you're in love with someone, they're right? And do you know every time you hate someone, they're wrong? And do you know that's a big problem for you? And you got to ask, I got one life. Do I want to be in love or do I want to be right? Do I want to make everyone in my life wrong? Do I want to close down my heart? Do I want to say everyone's screwing me over? Or do I want to open my heart and start protecting myself? And this work is tough. And I'm telling you, the worse you feel, the more you're going through, the easier it is to close your heart and be righteous. When things start going well, money starts being okay, you're eating right, you're healthy, all of a sudden you can love everyone. So understand, it's not the people. It's this practice. It's us. It's us trying to figure out, why is the hatred increasing in my heart right now? And really, if things got better out there, would I feel better? I love all the hatred with the homelessness and the addiction and stuff. Like just, some guy up in Issaquah hasn't been to Seattle in like 15 years. He's up in his mansion in Issaquah and he's like, I can't stand the homeless problem in Seattle. It's like, when have you ever seen it? You're sitting up drinking wine in your own house. What do you mean you can't stand it? You don't care about it. It's just another way to be right. Do something about it. What are you going to do? And here we are. You know why the left is governing us? And you know why the right is governing us? You know why we're being governed by the fringes? Because they're the only ones that got enough passion to get out and vote. Because they're voting from righteousness. So that righteousness goes to the polls, and our peace doesn't go to the polls. So you cannot win as a moderate because you got to be out. The righteous are the only ones voting. The ones with hatred and anger in their heart. They want to eliminate everyone else. And we don't have enough anger and hatred in our heart to go. You see? So we're being fueled by righteousness as a society. We're being fueled by hatred. And that is causing the divisiveness. So it saddens. And then as your mom sits there, Mason, I'm sorry, this is the forum. This is the room work gets done. I'm sorry. Just call your mom. Just call your goddamn mom. That's it. Give up the hatred
from afar.
Who's next? You see, we don't talk about it. There's little Addie, I'm going to talk to you for a second. You're going to go to school. You're going to be scared and you're going to be fearful. And you're going to act like you're not. And you're going to walk around that school and you're going to act like you don't care. And you're going to act like you're scared. You're like you're not scared. And you're going to act like you're not fearful. And you're going to run around. And by chance, you're probably going to say some things like, I don't care what people think about me. I don't care about all that. And you're going to act real tough. And as you go on, you're going to try to act tougher and tougher. And you're going to close your heart more and more. And when somebody doesn't treat you right, you're going to close your heart. And you're going to wave your little finger and say, Don't treat me like that. You're wrong. And you're gonna get more hardened and more hardened, and then something's gonna happen. And one day you're gonna realize that you shouldn't have got hardened in the first place. That you do care what people think about you. That you do have a deep concern for the way that people look at you. That you do care. That you do care about your classmates. That you do care about people. And what you're gonna realize then is you're gonna have to open your heart. And you're gonna realize drugs and alcohol comes when we close our heart and we can't find a way to open it. And we want to feel better. And so you're gonna have to, what people won't tell you is how to relate to those people, how to like everyone. They won't tell you how to do that. They won't tell you how to love those kids. They won't tell you how to do that either. They'll tell you how to be right. They'll teach you how to be right. And they'll teach you how to close your heart, but they won't teach you how to open it. And so learning that at a young age to be able to walk around with people that don't look like you, people that don't act like you, people that aren't in your social group, people that, I was a little prick and no one taught me I wasn't. You weren't cool enough to be with me. I was with the cool kids. You weren't invited to my party. And now you go to your 20-year reunion and you're embarrassed. I'm embarrassed when I go. I have to walk around apologizing. Sorry, I was such a prick. Jesus, I was just at
Yeah, he just apologized.
I'm at a B&I meeting down in Kent.
Oh.
Full room, 100 people. 100 people. I noticed a girl I went to high school with. She's across the room. We have to go around, we all have to talk, get like 30 seconds, they ring a bell, you gotta quit talking. It's this excruciating experience.
What's B&I?
Business networking. So I'm in this thing of all these business owners in Kent. This girl, she stands up
At the very end.
at the very end and she starts telling a story. She says, when something happens to you as a kid and you just
I forgot she's.
never get over it and all this stuff.
There's a closing quote.
And she goes, and I've been sitting here ever since Art Dolan walked into the room. And she goes, my whole nervous system has been going like this, and I've been all anxious since he walked in. And I'm like, wow. And then she explained that I did something. I made fun of her swimsuit, and I made fun of her, which I don't remember. But I clearly could get the drift that I did that.
You can see yourself doing that.
At the beginning of the meeting, I saw her
When you
and
saw her?
I wondered, it was an hour and a half later that this happened, but I actually wondered, because I knew the story, and I actually wondered if she was nervous and her body language was off, and I actually wondered it, and she was sitting there the whole time. Nervous.
She got this beautiful opportunity. You got this beautiful opportunity to relate to other humans. I had this beautiful second chance to go back to high school and look at the people I would go around right now if I could go back and I could look at the people that didn't fit in. I would look at the people that weren't making it. I would go over to them and I'd make friends. I would go to the people and I would try to open my heart to people that didn't think like I thought. And I would really try to make a difference in the lives of people and play this fun game of relationship and not just go about my business like the rest of them, And you got this chance to learn this work. This idea, do you know what we have as a superpower as a human being? You have a superpower. You have the ability to watch yourself. So you know what that means? Self-awareness. You have the ability to look at your own behavior. My dog Barkley doesn't have that ability. You see? My dog Barkley doesn't have self-awareness, He poops and looks right at me while he's pooping. You would think you'd be embarrassed, So you have this superpower that you can use, but most people don't start using self-awareness until they get older. We don't use it at a young age. Forget that. I'm trying to make it, So you have this opportunity. I hope you stick around and learn a little more and learn about what we're talking about. Learn about how you do care deeply. You see, I had to admit for my life, everyone in this room, you know what I care deeply about? I care what they think about me. My foundation in life is based upon the fact that I think that I really am concerned with the way other human beings think about me. And I really want to live my life and I want other human beings to really think highly of me. And when human beings think highly of me because I behave good, I love that. And when people think I'm a kind person and people think I'm a good person, I love that. And when people think I'm not a kind person and not a good person, I don't like that. I don't like it. So I'm openly admitting to you that I care what people think about me, and I think it's the foundation of a good person. The foundation to be able to say, man, I hope you all care about what I think or what you think of me. I hope we can all, and I hope you care what I think of you. And if we didn't, what would make our behavior good? You know, the fact that we look at each other and, and that doesn't mean I get all crazy and I spend my night obsessing about what someone said or anything like that, but actually, if they call me fat or something, then, hey, Art, you're looking, oh, but what about when they say I look trim, Art, you look like you lost weight. I just got down to McDonald's and I'm like, I know. Today I went to McDonald's today for the first time in a while. And then I got home and I go, did you hear about the new McDonald's burger? It's full of protein. It helps you lose weight. And she's like, what? Had to try it. Yeah. McDonald's has got it here. Yeah. You guys haven't even heard about it. Huh? Okay. Well, it's there. Trust me. Huh?
Was it plant-based?
It is. It is. It's just, it's, I don't know. They told me it's made out of kale and,
And you ordered it?
yeah, I ate it. Yeah,
How was it?
of course.
Yeah, did it make you have to move
Yeah,
like immediately?
Okay, back here, Bailey.
Were the nuggets also?
Yeah, yeah.
What about the extra fries? Like that.
That's a vegetable.
I think this is supposed to be, you come here and that's the problem. We get an hour of here and we get an hour of a reminder and, I think you should be very leery of this. I want you to be very, very scared, in fact, of how you feel right now about the relationshiping in your life and how you can be in here and kind of go, man, I may have not looked at myself today. I may not have taken a look at my own behavior today. I may not have apologized when I'm supposed to apologize. I may be like trying to be right and pointing out the wrongness of my friend or my coworker or whatever it is. And I might be on it with my coworkers. I might go outside today at my break and smoke and talk shit about somebody. And I might have spent a lot of time talking shit about people recently. Because that's what I do in my relationships when it doesn't go my way and I feel dominated. I go and I congregate with people that also agree with me that the other person is bad. And then you might be doing that. You might be making people out to be bad people so you can finalize the relationship and be done with it. And so when we come here as a reminder, I want you to notice how quickly you can go back to demonizing people. I want you to know how quickly we go back to our routine. I want to know how quickly you'll walk into a store and go, look at that dumbass and look at that dumbass and look at that dumbass and go to work and say, look at how stupid that person is. And can you believe this? And I want you to know how our attention can shift very quickly. And you got to keep reminding yourself of the spirit with a practice of some sort, whatever it is, to nourish your mind to like change, to be able to understand that that's where I have to be when I'm alone. See, where I have to be when I'm alone is not righteous. I have to be humbled. And for me, that's where I'm not humble any other place, by the way. I'm not suggesting that I don't come off arrogant. I'm not suggesting that I practice humility here. Where I am humble, though, is when I'm alone and I'm processing my relationships. And I know I'm humble because I'm processing my own wrongness. That's how I know. And I know the difference between processing my own wrongness and considering the wrong behavior of somebody else over and over and over again, to the point I want to text them something nasty, to the point that I want to make my point even harder and yell even louder. So I do know the difference. And I know when I'm practicing humility, and I know when I'm practicing something else. So I hope that this reminder can stick. That's the thing about coming to meet you guys that are in recovery. And that's the thing about meetings and groups. It's a reminder. It's a reminder for yourself to go, wait, stop. Pause, arrest my thinking. This is what we're doing here. We're arresting the thinking and actually transforming it now. There is wrong behavior. That's true. It exists. That doesn't mean they're wrong. It means that the behavior is wrong. Now we have to figure out why behavior exists. And when we start with a person is good, fundamentally, when we believe that, we can then investigate to why that kind of certain behavior is going on with that person. And when we get the understanding of why it's going on, you know, just so you guys know, I love Mason. I love his mother. Mason got a bad break. He got a bad break, man. He lost his dad. He lost his dad at a crucial time in his life. And it was a bad break. And Mason had some trauma. He was involved in a traumatic incident that really saw some things that no human being should ever have to see. And if he ever tells you the story, it'll make you cry. And I love Mason for that story, and I love what he's went through. But what he has got to understand, so did other people. So did his mother lost her husband. Everyone went through the trauma. Everyone did. And so I love this idea that they as a family, and when it starts, when the stalemate ends, they can start investigating each other's rightness. And I think we all would like somebody else to do that for us. When somebody was mad at us, we would like them to investigate our rightness, not our wrongness. We would like that same grace. We would like somebody that was across seeing us trying to be good people, and somebody in a relationship with us go, let me figure out why they are a good person. And I've been doing this for 13 years, and what I'm up against all the time, I've been up against it for 13 years. And I'm telling you what I'm up against. I'm up against people trying to prove I'm a bad person almost every day. Every day, somebody is telling me that I'm a bad person in some way. These are the people I'm helping, telling me that I'm all about money, or the people that I'm helping telling me I don't care about them. Somebody is always trying to tell me I'm a bad person. And that's a tough thing to withstand. And it's a tough thing to have people that you're helping say you're a bad person. It's there, but we are all doing it. We are all trying to prove, just so you know, you did it today. Somewhere you tried to prove that someone's a bad person. And I don't know many people in this room. I just challenge you. Did anyone today try to really be mad at somebody and then try to prove they're a good person? I doubt it. When you got mad at somebody, what you did is you congregated with other people that would agree with you that you got wronged, and you vent. And you say, I'm right and they're wrong, and please agree with me. And if the person didn't agree with you, you got mad at them. You said, I'm done with you too. Right? So here's the work. This is the work. And by the way, I ain't nowhere. 13 years, I'll tell you what, climbing up a mountain of spirituality, I'll tell you what, I didn't make it. I'm at the same place I started. Same place. Still dealing with anger, still dealing with frustration, still restless, still irritable, still discontent. It's all there. But I just spend my time now, and there's the only way out in a responsible manner is to prove that the human beings that I'm frustrated with are good. And there it goes. Oh, that's a different one. Okay, where are we at? I want to open up one more. You guys want to introduce yourself?
Sure, we're David and Kathy Townsend.
That's fine.
David and Kathy Townsend.
Okay, great. How long have you known Bev?
5-6 years.
Okay.
One of Bev's surrogate sons is back there. Brad loves Bev. So. Okay, so what are you guys going through? Let's give a little boom.
41-year-old son who's he's got some mental issues and he's got some addictions, and it's just taking over right now of his life, and it's making our life hell.
Yeah. Is he in your home?
No.
No. Where's he at?
He's in an apartment that has been for about 5-6 years.
I'm probably homeless by the end of them.
In the past 5 months, we made that payment on rent, so.
Yeah.
We stopped at, the end of August is it, so. We probably will be homeless.
Where are you guys from? Federal Way?
Yeah.
And what do you do? Retired?
She's retired, I'm, self-employed,
What do you do?
insurance.
Do you sell insurance? Or have an
Yeah.
agency?
I have an agency.
You have an agency. Do life insurance? Huh? I just got turned down.
Yeah, we're brokers out there.
Okay, so interested in selling a life insurance policy to an overweight, pre-diabetic, McDonald's eating. Yeah. Yeah,
That's been ruled out.
okay.
Don't put that out there. He's powerful with his.
Well, aren't we all pre-diabetic?
Yes.
Right? I mean, you know,
So it's our first time here, Bev mentioned it, and, we're looking for some answers, so.
yeah.
We're trying to do the right thing. but,
We'll vote Trump.
Yeah.
He'll help us.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have answers. You know, but it's a very tough time these days for mental illness.
Sure.
It's tough. So, but I learned a lot today with the facility I was at. So we got some answers. No, I did. They're helping people there. You know, there is a way. So anyways, we have a consultation.
Yeah, let's schedule a consultation, so I'll connect with you and let's, yeah, that's just so we can just one-on-one with you, sit down and get to know your situation.
That'd be great.
Who else? Someone pissed off at someone? Addie, you pissed off at any of your friends?
Did you bring it up?
Yeah. You got a hit list? Yeah. Oh, I remember the Addie story.
I'm mad at my husband. I've been mad at my husband for 3 days.
Okay, let's hear it. Okay, let's hear it.
You're right. I've been thinking about every reason he's wrong and I'm right and I wronged him and have not self-reflected at all.
Yeah. What'd he do?
He didn't help me around the house.
Oh.
You left the toilet seat.
No, I asked him to do something and he told me he was too busy. I had 100 things to do and
Yeah.
Brad's willing to help.
then I thought of all the stuff he never does and all the stuff I do and I just get a list in my head about how it's all uneven and blah, 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 and
Just tell him you went down to the sober house and you found like 11 guys that were willing to help. Okay. You know, that sucks.
it does suck.
What sucks is that you missed 3 days with your husband.
Yeah.
And in that 3 days, we know the process. You're relationshiping. You tried to make a difference in the relationship and you thought that whatever he did differently would make you happy. And so you went away from that. And this is the exact teaching that I'm trying to get people to understand, that when we're relationshiping, the most valuable point is what happens in when we walk away from that interaction. And then we actually get the spiritual practice of calming ourselves and getting to the point that it's one of two directions. Either I go back to figure out why he's right and a good person, or I distance myself and get more divisive and figure out why they're wrong. And then this argument continues and compounds upon other arguments. And we begin this process. And it's important, especially in these relationships, that we clear immediately. Meaning, me and Ange in our relationship, we have to clear immediately. So what I say is, if we have one incident that goes left undone or untalked about, like he didn't do something last week or something like that, I call that the sheep. And then I tell her, if you bring another incident and we don't talk about it and we don't deal with it, that's the next sheep. And the third incident's the comforter. And then we've made our bed and we're done. And now our relationship is pretty much over. And it's too petty and it's too much because we're pulling back layers to try to figure out what happened. So it's important that we understand in this relationshiping game when we're clear and when we're not clear. And that means 100% clear. And in order for you to go home right now and investigate his rightness and get his side so that you can love him That's so important. And that's the most important thing is that, and me and Angie, we are skilled at this and I'm not bragging, I'm just saying this is what we do. And maybe it's because
takes me so long to get there.
because your heart closes, you protect yourself with righteousness. Your mind then is your body's in pain, so your mind is now protecting you with righteousness. That's how the process works. And it's hard to pry those arms open, walk back and say, you know, I can be right for the next 3 days and not talk to you. Or we can work this out right now and I can open up my heart and I can get your side and I can believe that you're a good person. And this is the exact work. And I wish, you know, I hope that more people are involved in this because it's fun. Because it's almost laughable when you get to the point of understanding with someone about this stuff. We laugh at each other all the time about like where our head went. You know, this is where my head went. I was thinking, you know, I mean, we could be married and perfectly in love in 5 minutes. I've already got a new place to live. You know, I mean, just very quickly, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy a new house. You know, we have a son on the way, by the way. So we have a son coming from the Ukraine. So her and I are having a kid. And that kid is gonna be here. And when we're getting angry right now, I could go, hey, well, we're gonna have split custody.
We laugh real quick.
Yeah, and we both tell each other where our heads went. In a comical way that our own heads are crazy. We speak about our own heads in a comical way. Here's where my thoughts went, and it's stupid. And we both know it's stupid. And to understand that this work is of relationshiping, God, I just impress upon you. If you're in this room, get off your phone and relationship. Call people, get in the game. You know, and because the game for me is even more. Right now, I'm learning a new style. I had this spiritual practice to deal with people that were in my program and to deal with the people around me. But it never had to get to the level it is now, because now I'm dealing with only people that tell me I'm wrong and disagree with me. And that's a heated level of an ability where I need to increase my practice, and I really need to practice what I'm talking about tonight, because the people out, when you're trying to escalate your relationships and make an impact and get things done, the heat is on. And people, you'll get mad and frustrated and quit in a day. And you have to be scrappy. This is tough work, you know? And if we have to start with these relationships around us, yeah, Pam.
Many times when we were in the thick of things with Chris, I'd hear out of Dave's mouth, well, I'm just gonna move out.
Yeah.
I'm moving. I go, where are you gonna go? And then he'd stop and think about it for a minute, and I go, no, we're in this together.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere.
You know,
We're gonna make this work.
yeah.
I don't know how many times he said that, but I don't think Chris even heard it, but
Yeah.
we just made it work. We just said, we're not gonna give up.
That's
We're gonna keep working on this.
they always say addiction and mental health tear the family apart. And that's not what tears the family apart. And I was going to ask you guys right away. One of the questions that came to my mind right now is, how are you two doing? Because that's the deal. It's not the person tearing the family apart. It's what to do with the person that tears the family apart. It's the arguments about the strategy to take. It's the arguments about what we should be doing. It's the constant problem-focused discussion. It's constantly how it overcomes your relationship, and it becomes the subject at dinner, and it becomes the subject in the car, and it becomes the entirety of your relationship. And that's what tears people apart, because then we disagree about what to do, and we argue about what to do, and we don't know what to do, and we're dominated. And that's what tears the relationship shouldn't get torn apart if we could just use it as an opportunity to get closer. Use it as an opportunity to understand each other. So, but your schedule with us, I promise we can help. I might be crazy tonight and you might not get it, but you haven't got up and ran out. So that's yeah. Most.
I told her.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'm watching the process. I watch what's going on. I watch the behavior of me. I watch the behavior around, it seems to be that we've got on the surface with our relationships. We kind of point out people's wrong behavior. We compare and contrast. We kind of just do some things. And then when we have a difficult relationship, we practice our own righteousness and kind of begin to build our case. And I think we need something, to me, I think we got to get back to this, you know, starting here, starting with your family, starting with your own work. What is the work you're doing? You know, this phone thing is killing us. It's sedation. Just imagine if we went home and there was just no phones when we got home. Just imagine if there wasn't Netflix. Just imagine if we had to act like they were back in the day and we had to like sit by the fire with each other. Just imagine if we had to relate that way again. So, you know, for me, I want you to know, I'm just trying to remind myself of the playbook, because I am bringing every kind of baggage and every kind of difficulty into my relationships right now that I have. I'm hard on this woman right now. And she's tough to take it, but I'm hard on her, and I be hard on her and complain to her and vent to her. And, you know, I find a way to vent and kind of blame her for my life. And, you know, I do that when I'm in pain, and then I have to apologize I'm just enough knowledge of this thing to know what I'm up to. So I get to keep her with my apologies and everything. Otherwise, she'd probably move out. But yeah. So anyways, I hope it helps, and I hope your mind doesn't click back right away to how great you are. You know, I hope it can, you know, how it might click back to how smart you are and how great you are and how right you are. It might click back real quick, but I challenge you to watch that and dial it back a little bit and get into this game. You know, I want you to figure out why your mom's a good person. I really do. I want you to find all the ways she's good and remind yourself. And I want all these people, if your parents or your loved ones, figure out why they're good people, man, because they are. And if they're not good people, then just, you couldn't even get over it. You wouldn't, if you can't forgive, you can't get that hatred out. And I don't even know, I haven't met it yet. I've been doing this for 13 years and I still haven't met a bad person. That's honest. I've met some difficult people. I've met some people that are troublesome to be around. I've met some people that have behaved poorly. But I have not met a bad person. I've met people that are on their journey doing and colliding with life in their way. And since I haven't met a bad person, I don't hate anyone. I've been able to bring everyone back into the fold and keep those people around me. And that's the only thing I have, is I have to look at why people are good, and I have to start with that foundation. So thank you for listening, and Angie.
I have a few things. Number one, I want to slow down for a moment and auction. I get nervous in the beginning, and so I ramble. So I want to tell you, it's so important. What we need ticket sales, so we need you to invite all your friends to the auction. We need people there, and then we need.
Your friends with money.
If you can.
Don't invite the hobo friends.
So what companies do you know?
Yeah,
What businesses do you frequent?
yeah.
That you go to restaurants all the time, coffee shops, businesses that you frequent, that you know the managers, that you can ask. What we're asking is, will you donate an item to this nonprofit organization? And we have tax donation receipts and all that. So we're looking for products, services, experiences.
No, let's tell you, let me tell you what we're really looking for. We're need people that want to sponsor us for 15 grand.
Yeah.
We need people that want to sponsor the auction for 15,000. We got to raise $500,000. And the reason we got to raise $500,000 is that we need 200,000 to give away to people that are going to need treatment. We need 200 people are struggling right now. Families are having a hard time paying. They got to get their kid into a place that helps them, to get the kid that helps them, the place like ours that has life skills and people getting back and working on their credit and doing the things that we're doing here. And we need 200 grand to give away for those treatment. We need scholarships for people. Families can't pay anymore. I need money to pay Ange to be on the phones, to deal with families that call, because she's on the phones all the time. We need money for Becky. We need money for the other people that are helping. We need money for the people. We need to hire new people to get out there and do outreach. In order for us to grow, we need to scale it to families. I was talking to Angie the other day and I said, you know, probably about 1% of Washington knows who we are. 1%. And for every family that's been here, you understand how much other families need this. You know. And so we're taking it very serious. And if you know people they got money and we need $15,000 sponsors, $5,000 sponsors, we need chunks. And we need to actually get serious here about the work we're doing and the people that are getting helped by the scholarships that are coming here. So a lot of people this year have been scholarshiped. We've blown all our money giving treatment to people that couldn't afford it. We've done a lot of, we have to. Because people, it doesn't take 3 months, and people at 3 months, families paying, they run out of money after 3 months. Times are
And
tough.
we don't give up on people. No.
And we don't give up on people. So now we got people coming back and people still struggling and they've been here a year and we're trying to finance it and we're trying to get it done. And we have to have the money to do this. So we're not ashameful of asking because we know you call this woman at any time of day, you got any crisis, any problem, she answers the phone all day, every night, and everyone knows that. And we have to be able to keep the life going and keep this thing going for everyone. So we're trying to get real serious with this auction. And I hope that, and if you're coming, if you're a kid that's been in the program, get your monthly partnership going. $20 a month, $30 a month. We need it all. So for me, it's time for me to get serious and ask her.
So who do you know? And there isn't, but I feel it really important right now to really clarify the distinction too. There's two different things going on here. There's Rebuild Recovery and there's Battlefield Addiction. Battlefield Addiction is the nonprofit. There are people, lots of people that call Battlefield Addiction that never go to Rebuild Recovery. Me and Becky and Kristen and the future employees of Battlefield Addiction, we're here to help all families. Families that, well, we hope that they come into solution groups and whatnot, but there's a distinction. So all you guys, we just need your help spreading the word, but there is a distinction that's really important to recognize that Battlefield Addiction is the nonprofit that is raising funds to help people, all people. So who do you know? And then Mom's Group in the morning and then Ari next week.
Oh yeah, next week. Come on, Ari Hoffman. You guys, you got to know Ari. Ari's a kick. So Ari is a right-wing conservative radio talk show host. He's very popular, and we want people in this room that challenge Ari. We want people that don't agree with him. We want people that agree with him. But come, and Ari can take it. He's a badass. So come and disagree. Come and challenge. Come and have a talk. Come and feel the heat. But Ari Hoffman's gonna be here and we want to light this room up for him.
You need to get a free ticket on Eventbrite to secure your seat, because we do think it's gonna be standing room only. So we have a link to reserve your spot, so we can kind
Right.
of track how many people are coming too, but.
And the next guest that we're trying, but Reichert's campaign is very slow to move. But we should have Reichert in September.
They have committed, we just can't settle on a date, they
Yeah.
have committed, so we are gonna have Dave Record, we just don't know what date, it's not gonna be it doesn't look like it's gonna be the Tuesday that we wanted. So it'll just be an off day and we'll keep you posted as soon as we know. And it seems like there's one more, and to clarify, so solution groups are the first and the third Tuesday of the month, so first and third Tuesday of the month, this was the solution group, the political topics are the other in the hot seats and whatnot, so, okay, with that, yeah.
Question. Okay, so Renee at BNI, I know she gets up and at the end, it's supposed to be an inspirational quote or story, right? So she gets up and talks about what a pill you were for being so mean to her, but how did she end it?
What was the
And would that be an appropriate closing quote for tonight?
She was great. I don't remember the quote
Because he felt so bad.
because I was on my own shame and guilt. But
It was, she tied it in, she was really
she
cute.
came and gave me a hug after. So,
Cute.
yeah.
I found it. She
Yeah.
she's really nervous because she needed to get that off her chest and
She forgave you.
you remember that when you're
I
a young girl. and a boy
I already
becomes
know
you.
she did, but.
Yeah.
She must watch Solution.
But I wanted to know what the.
She was gonna come tonight.
Have you heard about the people that watch my group slogan?
No.
Do you ever see those random women that hit you up on Facebook?
Oh, yeah.
That's because they watch my groups. They're not fake.
Lots of
They text me, they're doing a selfie in a bathing suit. They see me talk. You know what I mean? I tell Angie, look at, she must have saw me talk last night. And then I accept the friend request and right away, you know what they did? They asked me how I am. They go, how are you? And I go, I'm great. Yeah, yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. Oh.